verse number 334. यतिरसदनु सिन्धं बन्धहेतु विहाय स्वयं मयमहमस्मित्वात्मदृष्टिव तिष्ठते सुखयति ननु निष्ठा ब्रह्मणि स्वानुभूत्या हरति परमविद्या कार्यदुःखं प्रतीतम्. Says beautifully, as we have been discussing this point, that Drishya Jagat cannot be Druk or Drashta. With this we have been analyzing, but unfortunately always this Drishya body mind complex becomes Druk or me. That's why all sort of problem I face in my life. As it goes further, it says that yati asat anusandhi bandhahetu vihaya swayam ayam aham asmi iti atmadrishtyayava tishte sukhayati. So yati means yatna sinavar, a seeker, in fact a sannyasi. And what he says, look, what he should do, asat anusandhim. So when he says asat anusandhim, how asat anusandhim? Here the yati, yatna sinavan, a sannyasi, or you can say the person who is in the path of this knowledge, must not dwell upon asat, that which is not real. Why? Because that's why he gives up, vihaya, giving up. Why does he do that? Asat anusandhi he does because of bandha hetu. So it says bandha hetu means because he knows very well, if I dwell upon asat, the more I dwell upon unreal, the more I am going to be bound. So that becomes bandha hetu, that which causes bondage. Okay, now if the person does not do that, then what should do the person? Because has to dwell upon something. Says, look, when the person works to grow out of it, to get rid of it, or dissociate oneself from dwelling upon this objective world, that which is not real. Now, swayam ayam aham asmiti atmadrishtyayava tishthet, that to sukhayati. So what he does, sukhayati means that which causes the happiness. So that means what causes the happiness? Generally, when I dwell upon, or anytime you dwell upon any object, so what is the purpose of dwelling upon any object, whether it's real or unreal? That is secondary. Because it causes some type of happiness. If the object does not give you happiness, if the object or person does not give you, or situation does not give you happiness, will you dwell upon? In fact, you will be tired, you will be fed up of. enough. So that means the person dwells upon anything and everything, not for the sake of dwelling upon, but for the sake of happiness. Now interestingly, he says, look, but the real happiness, this is what causes the happiness. What is that causes? When the person tishthet, abides, where does it abides? That to atmadrishtya. So atmadrishtya means what? As one's oneself. Vision of the totality, vision of, Atma. And where? Swayam ayam aham asmiti. I myself am this iti. So when the person abides within one's own self as I am only this, that's all. That actually causes the happiness in me. So when I see the happiness in me, so what is the need of me to dwell upon anything or anybody? So the person has to understand this, and a person has to imbibe this. Then only what will happen is, you will not be interested to dwell upon anything or anybody. If it comes good, doesn't come better always in life. Because there is no point of anything. And of course, says beautifully, that's why if this is the case, and very nicely, because of that reason, nano nishtha brahmani swanubhutya harati param avidya karya dukkham praditam iti. And because of nishtha, because of the commitment to this, and to whom? To brahmani, because the commitment is with reference to Brahman, that abiding in one's oneself as totality, and that too, of course, swanubhutya. So where one's own anubhuti means what? That the person who has made this knowledge to see for one's own self. So anubhuti, don't try to translate generally. Anubhuti means experience. We have discussed very carefully, especially in last Upanishad, Mundaka Upanishad, how we explained the word anubhuti. I hope we should recollect sometimes. That is, which is a very key point to understand that. So in that angle, if you look at, absolutely no problem. But general translation that is predominant as anubhuti creates a lot of confusion. How? So here it says, look, so when there is, means making the knowledge as one for one's own self, making available for one's own self, that is called anubhuti. So anubhuti, what happens? He says, look, very nicely, harati parama avidya karya dukkham praditamti. Says, look, it really destroys, it really removes. What does it remove? Avidya karya dukkham. Param means absolutely. So what is that? Avidya means the ignorance and its products. So avidya karya is what? Dukkhamiti. Dukkha means the misery. Generally, whenever we have any suffering, it is not because of the object, not because of the situation, not because of anything, but because of my avidya, the ignorance. And of course, avidya comes, avidya kama karma, we say very nicely, avidya kama karma. And once there is a kama, then karma brings karma phala, then after karma phala, again you are into karma. The situation keeps continuing. So it is very difficult to come out of this cycle. And of course, any karma phala will bring some type of sukham, some type of dukkham. In fact, most of the time it brings dukkham than sukham. Because while thinking there is uncertainty. While executing there is uncertainty. When result comes, you are little bit excited, or you may not get excited because it is not according to your expectation. Even if you are excited according to your expectation, then what happens? There is a fear, now it is going to go away. So in short, this karma phala only brings a lot of misery in one's own self. So it is not because of anything, because of the avidya. So this avidya karya dukkham iti. So this misery that is born out of ignorance, and of course absolutely pratitam, that which is available, that one is able to experience because of the ignorance, is being destroyed or does go away. So in short, that more I am committed to the teaching, the less suffering I will have in my life. Because you can see for yourself. This is the one of the best example you can compare. Like nowadays you are attending classes regularly. So when you are attending the classes regularly, problem is same. Maybe sometimes more, because of pandemic problem is more, to be very honest. But in spite of all the problem, if you observe, your mind is much better or not? That responding to the situation is entirely different or not? Just observe this point. Suppose if you don't attend the class for some time, 1 month or 2 months, I am sure you will be able to see a big change, not in a good way, okay? In a different way. Because this is the benefit. Directly you get it. Because the moment there is some type of issue happens, it hits you. Okay. So it takes sometimes 5 minutes, sometimes 2 hours. But it hits sometime or other. So that is what the job of the teaching. It's like, whether you apply brake before accident or after accident. But don't worry, somehow you have managed to apply the brake, okay? However, if this is the case, please let us look at the next verse, okay? Baihyanusandhi parivardhayet phalam durvasanameva tatasthatodhikam gyatva viveki parihritya vahyam swatmanusandhim vidadhita nityam. Says, again you can see, baihyanusandhihi parivardhayate phalam durvasana eva. The more I contemplate, the more I dwell upon what? Bahya vastu, external objects. Baihyanusandhi, more I dwell upon external object. He says, look, it is going to parivardhayat, it's going to increase. So what does it going to increase? All the way it will increase. Phalam, phalam means fruits. So what sort of fruits? The fruits of stronger desire. So the more I dwell upon, definitely the more desire will be stronger. And what sort of desire it is? Durvasana, not ordinary vasana. If it is ordinary vasana, absolutely no problem. So durvasana means the vasana, that which is going to give me dukkham, misery. And once that starts increasing, now tell me, what choice do I have? So that means definitely things will be day by day worse in my life. So that's why what I should do? He says beautifully, nothing to do. Gyatva tatah, this is what Durvasanameva, tatah adhikam. That's a beautiful point that I didn't look at. Okay, I'm sorry. Says because of this reason, what happens? Tatah adhikam iti. So once this happens, it will start increasing. It is exactly like any addiction. If you start having one cigar, so nothing like going for two cigar, cigarette, okay? From 2 to 3, because after all it is hot pranayama. Okay, don't forget this, okay? Because the fellow is no more. So always you will say, wow, Swamiji. I say, hey, where you go? Swamiji, I was doing pranayama. Pranayama, what pranayama? They say, you do not know. I said, tell me, what is that pranayama? Hot pranayama. So idea, that fellow was really very good. Poor fellow is no more now. So however, so how it really, pushes you to more and more. Same thing, here it says, this Vivek, what you need to do when this happens, then you need Viveka here. Vivekaihi parivritya vahyam swatmanusandhim vidadhita nityam iti. So nityam means always. So that always means it really demands regularity and consistency without any break, continuously. So what is to be done? Vidadhita. Vidadhita means what? One need to see it, one need to practice it, or one need to do for one's own self. And what is to be done? Swatma anishandhim iti. Because earlier I was doing what? Bahya anushandhi. Earlier I was dwelling upon external object. Now I don't have to dwell upon external object. But here I need to dwell upon what? Atma anushandhim. So I need to dwell upon one's own self. And how it will be possible? He says, look, only when there is Viveka. With the help of Viveka, Vivekaihi, with the help of Viveka, discriminative power. Because whenever mind goes, that is natural. Please understand. If there is Rasgulla in front of a person, even if that person is a diabetic, you think that person will not eat? Definitely will eat. They say, look, even if I am diabetic, half, okay. Don't worry, I'll go for a walk, okay. Worst case, you can put one more injection, you understand? Because that is natural. That is how the sense organs, they have been designed to be extrovert, to be interested in external objects. But here is the role of Viveka. So the more stronger Viveka I have, the discriminative power I have. With the help of this Viveka only, parihutya vahyam iti. So I will be able to withdraw myself from the external object and I will start getting into me, myself, Atma Anushandhi. Because of that reason, now what happens? I will discover that I will not be extrovert. In fact, I will start abiding within myself. Let us read the next. Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata. Manah prasade paramatma darshanam. Tasmin sadrishthe bhavabandhanashah. Bahit nirodha padavi vimukte. Says beautifully. Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata. And because of mana prasade, paramatma darsana. These are the steps. one is supposed to look at. Bahye niruddhe manasa prasannata. Actually, the mind becomes calm and quiet when mind is not extrovert. Oh, that means all depressed people, mind is calm. Problem is, don't bring all the time extreme examples, okay? When a person is depressed, looks like the person is introvert, but in reality, during depression time, there is a comparison. Without comparing, one cannot remain in the stage or state of depression. In fact, more you keep comparing, the more you maintain your state of depression. So that means comparison is what? Between external situations. So even if you are in depression, you are not internalizing. You pretend to internalize. But in fact, you are extrovert completely. Can you see this point? So that is also not, your question also is not valid. Secondly, because the more I start engaging my mind in the external world, now the more my mind pick up the vasanas, the thread that I have experienced in previous lives. Because mind will pick up. You cannot. So that means you mean that I should not, so I should isolate, put myself in a cave, so I should not see anybody or anything. Like I know, there is one group of Swami. So when they travel, including in the air, they travel in a very big way. The big Swami, when they travel, they will make sure that in that flight, where they book in such a way, that area, no air hostess will serve them. That is why one group is there. So air hostess may not serve physically, but mentally some other hostess will serve, okay? That is more dangerous. So that is not healthy either. So do you mean that I should live like that? It's not like that. Here is when, before that he says, look, there should be maturity, Viveka should be there. Viveka plays a bigger role. And because of Viveka, now first thing in life is to look for what? Manasa prasannata. Please understand, this is the most important point to observe. The quietude of mind, the calmness of the mind. If the mind is not calm, please understand, you cannot understand oneself, nor you can see God, or you can understand God. This is very clear. First thing is, I have to work very carefully with me how to develop the calmness, quietude in me. If I say I am disturbed, that too highly disturbed, and I am a meditative person, or I am an enlightened person, or I am a seeker, it's not going to work. Because at any cost, let me not lose my peace of my mind. Please understand. If I am smart and intelligent, let me not miss my peace of my mind. This is what in fact I am holding on to at this given situation. You must be observing this. In order to protect Kaupinam, you know the story. How a Swami, so Kaupinam means underwear, okay, directly. So to protect that, how a Swami went for a cat, when somebody gave the cat, so in order to feed the cat milk, to how to get the milk, the cow comes. Then while cow comes, who is going to take care of the cow? 1 day, 2 days, they get fed up. Somebody comes to take care, and slowly a lady comes to take care of the cow, and then finally took care of the Swami permanently. So we have a beautiful saying, it's not a joke. I am telling you, this is the truth in many occasions. You can see for yourself. This is what happens most of the time. While having food, that to Indian food, I have seen in many places, many houses, especially towards the end, if it's in North India, South India, any India, no problem. While rasam and rice is being given, so rasam will be poured, liquid one will be poured more. Now it's more rasam. Can you give me little bit rice? Then rice comes, I think rasam is little less. Can you put more rasam? Then why don't you want to eat more? Please keep eating more. So the person keeps asking differently, not for anything else, but to increase the intake of the rice. You understand what I am trying to say? It's a very nice example I observe in many times. This is not only one thing. Many occasions you can see for yourself. Wherever you are being cut off, you have been cut off. Literally. If you feel that you are being cut off, you feel that you are bound. How did you get bound? How did it happen? Do you understand why? To protect something. Exactly, Kaupina. Instead of your Kaupinam, your fancy. You understand? Some insecurity in you. You may say in the beginning it is fancy, but it is not fancy. It is deep within your fancy. Your insecurity plays underhand. And because of that, you are being caught up in such a way, you don't want to release yourself either. That's why one has to be very honest and clear. Let me not lose my peace of my mind for anything. At the cost of peace of my mind, remember, in this world, nothing is important. Nothing is precious. Can you see this point? First is my peace of my mind. But generally for a common person thinks, what is the peace of my mind? Appeasing or taking care of my likes and dislikes. So the more I take care of my likes and dislikes, in short ego, the more I am peaceful. And you are not peaceful, you are sleepy. You are dormant. That is not a peaceful mind. So peaceful mind is that when in spite of anything, you are comfortable, contented. You do not look for external appreciation, acknowledgement, comfort, anything, but you are getting anything and everything in you, but you still can do something for the sake of doing. So that's why always mana prasannata, manasaha prasannata, that how this mind to be pleased or how the mind will be calm. But my problem is I always work to please my mind. And how? Following my mind. Following my mind, I please my mind. You understand? The sad part happens, mind is so fast, I cannot follow. Impossible. Finally, I am tired and exhausted. Have you not seen this point? The more you try to follow your mind, the more you will be behind your mind. It is impossible to follow your mind. Mind should follow you. Mind should, help you. So that's why it's been highlighted. Manasah prasannata iti. Then he says, Manah prasade paramatma darshan. Only when the mind is pleased, when the mind is calm and quiet, then only paramatma darshan. That one will be able to see the totality as one's own self. Because if the mind is disturbed, a disturbed mind cannot appreciate anything. And when the disturbed mind cannot appreciate anything, how can that disturbed mind will be able to appreciate the totality? It is almost impossible. And says, look, tasmin sudrushte bhavavandhanasha. Only when the person is able to see sudrushte, not ordinarily, not seeing God once in a while, because somebody said, I saw the God only once, enlightened. How is it possible? If by seeing God once you are enlightened, then Arjuna could have become enlightened. So Bhagavad Gita was not really necessary at all. And when Krishna was available, everybody has seen him. You mean that everybody was enlightened? When Rama was alive, everybody has seen Rama. You think everybody is enlightened? Or if you want to name it any God, Buddha or Jesus or anybody you want to name it as God, even if though we don't, still nothing wrong in it. Look at as incarnation. Many people have seen them. You think everybody is enlightened? So seeing God is not going to happen. Any enlightenment is another nuisance. People think, oh, one time. And another thing also, the sadhu, the Swami also became the incarnation of God. I do not know how it happens. That is the worst part to happen in life, okay? Please understand that. First of all, whether they are enlightened or not, that is a big question mark. Then you add, he was incarnation of something. And in India, the worst part is every sadhu, means those who have what little name, somehow or other, they will add, he was the incarnation of this. God's sake. And the sadhus also, they also encourage. When they somebody said that he was incarnation of Rama. He was, thank God, so far nobody says incarnation of Krishna, okay? I have never seen anybody stating that incarnation of what called? This Lord Krishna. Because they know Krishna life is not that easy, okay? And which is really, thank God, I would rather say openly, very clearly, that nobody really says that I am incarnation of what? Krishna, okay? However, let us not get into that. Tasmin sudrushte bhavavandhanasha. Only when a person has seen the God in details. How in details? Means seeing God, the God, or understanding the God as one's own self. Then only bhava bandha nasha. So destruction of what? Bhava bandha. Destruction of the bondage of sense of becoming. Of course, then only what will happen? Bahir nirodha padavi imukte. So automatically, bahir nirodha, the person will not be interested in external things. So automatically, there is some type of, I cannot say aversion is a wrong word, very strong word, some type of fulfillment within which makes you not to become extrovert. Okay, Honedo, let it happen. You understand? Let it happen. It is exactly like I'll tell you. Just imagine. Suppose, I don't want to tour off, but still you know me. Let us say 7 days you are going to be alive. just for 7 days. I wanted to tell 1 day, but just I am extending little more, okay? Just 7 days. Now, will you bother about anything? About your anger, about your frustration, about your asset, about anything and everything? You understand 7 days. What you will do? If somebody says somebody is taking something from your place, what you will say? What is purpose? Yeah. Take some more thing, please. In fact, inevitably, most of the people before dying, they get the signal that they will leave. Many people do get, if they are little bit. And I have seen many people before that, they become very nice and they complete the job. There are many cases. Like for example, including this Swamiji, he has done everything, he has settled all the accounts except me. But honestly, he has done, he has settled. I cannot blame him, just joke's sake, okay? I'm sorry. Which I was not interested, now I am caught up, okay? I'm sorry, okay? To be very honest. That's whatever he has done, to be really respected. So here he says, Bahir Virodha is exactly like that. So when a person is really settled within one's own self, this is called settling within one's own self. You don't feel like there is no need of external things. But when the situation demands, nothing wrong in it, you may, that is your prarabdha leads you, pushes you, or else personally you will not be interested to go or to do anything. More and more. And that is what this is what Padavi Vimuktehe. So this is what the steps for liberation. Let us read next. Kah Pandita Sandas Sadas Viveki Shruti Pramana Paramartha Darshi. Janan hi kuryat asato balambam supata heto sisuvan mokshu. I think this verse, to be very honest, I have not looked at, so I cannot take it. So it's not right. So we'll see tomorrow. Please close your eyes. Purnasya Purnamada Purnameva Shishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.